Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1633.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. I'm revved up and very excited today to share with you a guest who's calling in from France, François Moreau. Hey, François, welcome to Cars Yeah. Are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
I'm really buckled up, Mark. Thank you.
We're going to have a little bit of fun today. Before I get started and we learn more about you and your company, I want you to tell my listeners one little thing that maybe most people don't know about you.
Well, actually, the people who know me as a watchmaker, as a car addict, as a dashboard fan, but they generally don't know I've been a banker for 25 years. And when they find out, they say, wow, you have been doing banking for 25 years. Oh my God, how can that be possible? So that's a bit of a surprise. The second thing that strikes people sometimes is the fact that I've been passionate about dashboard, cockpits, anything that carries measuring instruments since I'm a boy, actually. And I've been watching that for 40 years or more. And therefore, my knowledge around that themes is quite deep. And therefore, sometimes people don't see me because I'm quite a passionate guy. I like to have fun with friends. I like to drink good wines. I like to have good food. I like to travel. So they don't see me as a passionate about the dashboard and cockpits, which is quite a very particular passion, to be honest.
Well, you're French. You have to be passionate. That comes with the DNA, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not an exclusive thing, though. I have many friends from many countries, and I think the passion is quite universal. I have German friends passionate. I have passionate British friends. I have a lot of friends in the US. I'm going to Florida every summer. I have many friends there. They are just passionate. So I think passion is a common theme. It's like a cement that bring all my friends together.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's a big part of Cars Yeah here. Let me do a proper introduction of François, and then we're going to dive into this story of some really, really unique and fabulous watches that he and his skilled watchmakers make. François Moreau is a passionate watchmaker who's been fascinated by vintage measuring instruments since he was a child, as he told us. He created Reservoir watches as a tribute to those legendary racing drivers, the pioneers of aerospace, conquest, and to all of those heroes determined to push the limits of their time. In 2015, after 25 years of international management experience in the banking industry, François decided to pivot a bit and put his energy and skills into the launch of Reservoir watches. It is his way to fully live his passion and develop innovative watch collections with an acute sense of design and contagious creativity that ties automotive industry and speed, aeronautics, and sailing into luxury Swiss-made watchmaking. We're going to be back in a minute to talk with François. First, we're going to take a little break. Give a little love to our sponsors here. They're the ones that make this show possible. Sit tight, keep your seatbelt on, because it's going to be a fun ride. We'll be right back. Did you know Covercraft offers you much, much more than car covers, floor mats, seat covers, and trunk liners? When you visit covercraft.com, you'll find Cologne custom bras, La Bra front end covers, and hood protectors that protect your vehicle's front end while on a road trip. No more rock chips or hours removing nasty bug jerky from your grill and your paint. You'll find vehicle seat back organizers that keep everything in check, perfect for those kids in the back seat. Spidey gear webs that keeps cargo that's in your truck bed safely in place. Seat heaters, cargo bars, pro nets, rooftop carriers, bumper frames, bump steps, pet ramps, pet travel barriers to keep Fido in the back seat, tire covers, Carhartt backpacks, cooler bags, tote bags, tool bags, and zippered tote bags to keep everything secure. And don't forget their dash mat dashboard covers that shield the sun's damaging UV rays. Covercraft offers you an incredible list of solutions for your favorite rides. They're easy to install, easy to remove. Pet protection pads are easy to wash too and protect your floors and seats from Fido's damaging claws and messy fur and hair. And here's something special from me here at Cars Yeah. If you use the code YEAH120 at checkout at covercraft.com, they'll give you 10% off on me. Covercraft.com. Go there and use the code YEAH120 at checkout for that 10% discount. Covercraft, they've got you covered. When it was time to renew my last policy for my collector car, my carrier's rates went up. They went way up. But my usage was the same and I never had made a claim. No tickets, nothing. What's with that? American Collectors Insurance, that's who now protects my Porsche Turbo. The one I call my Orange Crush. Has your collector car insurance recently raised your rates for no good reason? Tired of paying an annual membership fee? I was too. So I shopped around, I asked friends for recommendations, and found a winner that I can trust. And boy, am I glad I did. I'm saving hundreds of dollars. I can sleep at night knowing my baby is properly insured. American Collectors Insurance have been protecting vehicles since 1976. They provide me with an agreed value insurance policy backed by a history of taking care of their clients. What could be better than that? Give them a call for a quote today at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. And protect the ones you love like I did. American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. All right, we're back. Francois, as we continue on your journey of life, I always like to start by asking my guests for a success quote or a mantra, some kind of saying that's been instrumental. You like the way I put that in there? Informing your life and your success. It's a nice way to get the watch arms moving around the dial here at Cars Yeah. So, Francois, take the wheel.
Well, I think, this is not just about watches and measuring instruments and cars. It's really about doing what I really wanted to do. That's really my mantra here. I've been, my 25 years in banking actually was quite a lot of fun. I did some great stuff for it's a British bank, HSBC. I've been traveling all across the world for them, and I had some great assignments, great missions, great experience. But at some point, I was just, telling myself, what do I really want to do? Well, I really like watches and I really love measuring instruments. I really love cockpits. I could spend hours just watching at cockpits. And one day I said, I need to do what I want to do. I must do what I really love to do. And the more I will do, the better it will be. So it's very easy to say. It's probably harder to do than just to say it. But actually, the moment you just switch to doing what you really want, it's becoming very easy. That's amazing. It's really amazing. So that's really, if I can share one stuff, is really that. Of course, the vision, the envy, what you want to really do will generally give you the appropriate sense of doing it right as well. So the idea is not sufficient. It's about execution. It's about bringing a lot of energy, bringing talents around you. But if you have the vision initially, everything comes together. I have seen so many people in my life, good friends, colleagues, team members, not knowing what they wanted to do with their life. But that's so important. It's just, okay, one day, this is very important. I want to do this. Let's do it. And we will see. Maybe it will not work, but at least give it a try. But if I decide to give it a try, let's give it a very big, hard try.
Yes, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, let's talk about Reservoir. I want to start at the very beginning, the name, of where the name came from. And since I'm a designer at heart, I was a designer for many decades, the logo too has a significant tie to the name Reservoir. So tell us about that.
Okay, so that's a very good question, Mark. Thank you for that. Well, this probably was the hardest part of the project. The hardest part was not to find the watchmakers to make this very high watchmaking complicated module. This was super complex to make, but it was not the most difficult. It was not to raise 6 million euros to fund the project. The most difficult was to find this, excuse my French, this bloody name. I was just looking at, I had the concept, I have everything. I have 4 collections already drawn. I had my motorist to develop the complication module. I had all the suppliers to make the casing, the dials, and I was very happy with them. And I was just short of the name. And I was say, okay, now it's time for me to really look for a name. So when you look for something, when you can't find it, then everything it's become obsessive. It's like you see, your mouse. Okay, this could be mouse watch, right? No, that's ridiculous. Come on. So this could be glass watch, right? No, that's ridiculous. So it could be scissor watch. No, come on, stop it. So I couldn't find it. So one day I spoke to a very good friend of mine. He's a very talented guy in luxury business. Now he's he's a very senior guy in this industry. He told me, maybe you could meet one of my friends. He's a consultant. He's a very smart guy. So I met the guy. He told me, so I just pitched him for 5 minutes about the concept. He told me, wow, this is so great idea. I will do it for free for you, just to have fun. And maybe if I find your name, you take me for dinner, and a good dinner. So we had a deal. He found 9 names. The moment I saw Reservoir, I told him stop. That was the fourth. I said, I don't want to see the 5 coming. Reservoir, wow, you just found it. Reservoir is a great name because it means fuel tank in French. It resonates in English language, because it has been going through reservoir dogs, all the water tank, the artificial lake. That means it's a recipient. So it's there somewhere, as a vintage word, which is perfect because we are vintage inspired, and it sounds a little bit French. And you know what? We are French Paris-based brand, so that worked very well. So this was a very tick box, and also reservoir because it means fuel tank in a vintage way. It means fuel tank means energy, means of course cars, but means time as well. And that's why all our visuals about roads, about tarmacs, about boats just going through the sea is this energy, and this is the time going on. So it comes with some kind of I'm not a philosophical, of course, but it comes with some ideas behind. And then the second thing is about the logo. So I had Reservoir, and I was looking for what should be the logo. And I played, that's a little trick, actually, Mark, many people, very few people know that, but I'm very happy to share that with you. I was looking for a presentation to investors with, the wingdings or the webdings, the font.
Yes.
Okay, there is a font called Oil Dink. It's just symbols about Derek, about the fuel boat and the little pump, And there was this jerry can symbol, and I saw this symbol. I say, wow, that's a very simple, pure, very easy, very unique, very easy to remember symbol. I will take that and I will put it in red because, of course, when you go to car meters, the extreme part is red because red zone. So, yeah. What is quite amazing is that if you go to any dashboard or cockpit or boat control panels, you will find that each period of human history got some design attached to it. So if you go to a warbird, a World War II warbird, you have some common design themes. If you go to the early jet from the 60s, you will find some evolution of that. You will find some yellow, you will find some red, and the numbers will change a little bit, the hand shape will change a little bit, and so forth. If you go to cars, between a German car, Audi, BMW, Porsche, cars from the 80s, they have some commonalities, but you will never be mistaken between a BMW and a Porsche. But they are Germans, not cars, but they are German dashboards. And if you go to Italy, in the 50s, this can only be Italian cars. It's amazing. So you have some design, it's almost genetic, in the way they design their car or their plane or their boat. You find, wow, this is a depth gauge from a German submarine. Oh my God. Yeah, and they are not the same from the French submarine, designed at the same time. So it becomes like a fascinating, and these are beautiful objects as well. So it's about design. So if you are not design sensitive, it doesn't say anything to you. But if you are design sensitive, the shape of the hand, the font, the colors, everything, even the little lines, are they triangles, are they squares, rectangles? This makes a massive differences. And so I started from that, and then I brought all these details into watches. And let me show you one example, which is quite nice. I mean, you mentioned about the battlefield, for instance. You will find that our inspiration was what is put on the car itself. They put some painting with I don't know the word in English. Sorry,
a star.
It's like you take a shape.
Yeah, like a star. Yeah. Oh, exactly. I know what you mean. They would put a piece of board up with a cutout and spray paint it, so it had this kind of rough look to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, and it means it's like a stencil.
A stencil, a template.
And all this painting. Exactly. So you don't know what it means. So you have like a 174FN12. So what is that? So we brought that on the watch, and if you have a look at your watch, you will find 133600, and it's called PWR 133600, which is actually the number of seconds of your power reserve. So all these little details are being brought from the initial inspiration. At the office, we have hundreds of meters, and it's always a delightment to go into this detail. Let me show you another example. You take a Mini Cooper from the 60s. You have a lot of little diodes, little lights. So if you go like 40 years ago, when you was on the countryside, driving your car, by night, so beautiful, and then you put your full light. And then you get this little this little blue intense light.
Yes.
A fascinating light, because by night you only see this little, wow, that means I'm on the highway, on the road, in the countryside, and there's this little deep blue light that tells me I'm free, I'm on the road, it's pure happiness.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring that on the watch. I can't bring a light on the watch, that's too complex. So I brought some gems. So we brought sapphire, ruby on the watch to look like these little gems, and that's really about really you take the objects and you turn into watches.
It's marvelous. I love all the little intricacies and tie-ins. And again, listeners, you can go to the website. You can see all of these beautiful watches. Also, they have a great book that I was sent that I kind of strolled through, and then that enticed me to go to the website. Did all of these different elements, when you talk about marine, aeronautics, automobiles, racing, did they all come together at once, or did you start with one in particular and then evolve into the different fields of interest?
Well, that's a very good question, Mark. And I'm very happy to have this question, because I think this is the first time I have it. Actually, I've met so many professionals, but your question is very smart. Okay, I don't know why I've been fascinated by anything that measures something since I'm a boy. And every time when I was 6, 7, 8, and every time I could have the opportunity to jump into a car I didn't know, I would spend hours in it. And I recall having some family lunch with my grandparents coming to visit us, in our place in the center of France. They were coming with their car, and the first thing after having a nice hug with my grandparents was to jump into the car. And I probably skipped part of the lunch, which was boring for him. So why? I mean, from where does it come from? I don't know. It's just a fascination. It's just like the pure aesthetic of it. And of course, the more I've seen dashboards and cockpits, the more I've been educated. If I say it, that means this dashboard is beautiful, and this dashboard is a piece of crap. So, and French have been doing very ugly dashboards from the 70s. Actually, the ugliest probably are French. I don't know why. And the beautiful cars makers probably are the Italian in the 50s, but their dashboard were not the best, were not the nicest to my taste. I mean, probably the Brits and the German. The Brits are very exquisite in terms of designing dashboards. They are super strong, and German are not too bad. They are probably colder, more functional, but it's a super functional tool, and that's very important actually for a gauge or a meter.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about a challenge, because you made a major pivot in your life, in your career, later in your life, which is absolutely fantastic, because you proved to many of us that you can make a major change in your life and do something you're very passionate about. Not that you weren't passionate with banking, but you know what I mean. Now you're really, really passionate. So talk to me about the biggest challenge you faced in starting the Reservoir watch brand, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, that's. I will try to keep it short, because I could speak for hours on that subject. But
I'll bet.
Okay, in short, no, but of course, in short, I think the biggest challenge was to bring a watch of that level of complication at that price. And I'm not just making some promotion of my brand. I'm just saying to bring a watch below the $4,000 price point with such a level of high level watchmaking complication is really a super challenge. And when I started that, bear in mind I was a banker. So the first time I went to Switzerland, the guy looked at me like, "Hey kiddo, sorry, we are working here. You are a banker. You want to do watches, fine, but when you have $10 million, come back to us. But for now, we don't have much time for you." So, but I was very, very, I would say, very, very strong in my vision, And I started to meet people, and some people initially, in my first trips to Switzerland, they told me, "Wow, that's a great concept. It's really good design, very smart idea, but at that price, it's impossible. It's just impossible. Maybe you can do it in quartz," which was, of course, a no-go for me. But in mechanical, no, you won't be able to make it. I'm sorry to say that, but it's impossible. So I was spending that day or these days in Switzerland, going back home in the evening by train, by the high-speed train back to Paris. And I was in the train. I was a bit of disappointed, but also it's not possible. Oh God, this is really. I know this is a strong idea. It should work, and so forth. And then it's a true story. One day I bought 2 books. I bought many books in my life, of course, but I bought 2 books the same day in a Urban Outfitters store in Florida 15 years ago. One is called, the title is called, "It is Impossible Until It Is Done."
Great quote.
And so I went into it's a great quote and it's a great book. So I went into my bed and then I took my book. I said, must be possible. And then I fell asleep. And in the morning, I was not telling myself, it should be possible. I was saying to myself, it is possible. And we will make that happen. So it's about the not the purity, but the strength of your vision. If you see something, you say it must be possible, and I really like this idea. And by the way, the second book I bought that day, which helped me a lot also, it's a very simple book. It says, very simply, we are all creative. We have a preconceived idea saying, "Oh, this guy is a creator. He's a guy who has creative ideas. I'm a silly guy. I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a banker, right?" So actually, no, we are all creative. It's just the power of the brain. Just gets ready to unlock it. We don't need to become crazy here. It's just about if you just give a try, if you just say, maybe I can have ideas, well, you will see the power of it. It's just amazing.
Wow. Inspiring. I love it. This is great. Well, we're going to take a
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to take a short break, and we come back. We're going to talk about your personal journey into the automotive world, because I know you like cars quite a bit in addition to gauges. So let's keep our seatbelts on, give our sponsors a little bit of love here. And when we come back, we're going to talk cars with Francois. So sit tight. Let's step away from the conversation and talk about our charity of choice here at Cars Yeah, America's Automotive Trust. America's Automotive Trust is a group of like-minded nonprofits that are working together to preserve and promote car culture across the country. Together, they provide scholarships and grants to aspiring technicians and restoration artists. They provide youth education programs and bring communities together through auto-related events, car shows, and drives. Among these nonprofits is TechForce Foundation, a great organization dedicated to solving the technician shortage that threatens the transportation industry today. By providing career development resources and increasing awareness and enthusiasm for the tech profession, TechForce is bringing bright young students into the auto, diesel, aviation, marine, motorcycle, motorsports, and restoration worlds. To date, they've awarded more than $10 million in scholarships and grants to tech students. And in times like these, I don't have to tell you how essential those techs are, keeping our delivery and emergency vehicles running and keeping America rolling. To learn more about TechForce or to make a donation to this cause, visit www.techforce.org. You'll be glad you did. My favorite collector car magazine is Keith Martin's Sports Car Market. I've been a subscriber for decades. Sports Car Market is the Wall Street Journal for enthusiasts and collectors. It's your monthly must-read, whether you dream of owning a collector car, maybe you have 2, or maybe you've got 200. Sports Car Market has been around for 31 years, and it's filled with valuable articles, intelligent write-ups, and the latest auction sales. Go to sportscarmarket.com and subscribe today. Here's a couple deals I have for you just for listening here on Cars Yeah. If you use the checkout code Cars Yeah, you'll receive a 50% discount on your digital subscription at Sports Car Market. That's an exclusive offer from Cars Yeah. And guess what? Here's another deal. If you'd like to get the actual magazine, use the code BSH for buy, sell, hold. That's code BSH, and you'll get $10 off your annual print subscription. That's right, $10 off. Both of these are exclusive offers here at Cars Yeah for Sports Car Market magazine. Just go to sportscarmarket.com and get your deals today. Kevin Buckler is a winning racer and team owner of the Racers Group. He has over 100 professional wins, multiple wins at the 24-hour of Daytona, and a win at Le Mans. Kevin realized the racing world is about the people and founded Adobe Road Winery. He and his team have created a winning combination with the Racing Series, 4 ultra-premium red wine blends that are in a class of their own with a racing twist. Just like in racing, these wines comprise of art, precision, engineering, science, superb taste, all blended together with a whole lot of fun. There are 4 carefully crafted blends with race-inspired names: Redline, Apex, Shift, and the 24. When you purchase all 4, you get the entire lineup in a beautifully designed gift box. There's a printed description of the blends inside the box lid, and every bottle is parked in a protective, die-cut placeholder. The bottles feature 3-dimensional labels, and I promise you'll want to keep them after enjoying these delicious wines. The box is so cool, you'll want to keep it too. The Racing Series is a killer gift for the automotive enthusiasts in your life, and I have a deal for you. If you use the code CARSYEAH, all one word, all caps, at checkout, you'll get $10 off any purchase of wine from the Racing Series. Your wine ships promptly and arrives quickly. Use the code CARSYEAH at checkout for $10 off on your purchase today. There's always a seat at the table for excellence with the Racing Series. Go to adoberoadwines.com and use the code CARSYEAH today to get your deal. Cheers. All right, we're back. I would love for you to share a story with me, Francois, that instigated this passion that you have for automobiles. We've learned about what you love about gauges and all sorts of machinery, but what was that pivotal moment in your life when you knew that you were a bit of a car guy?
Well, the pivotal moment was, and I'm sorry, Mark, I may disappoint you with that, but my pivotal moments was dashboards.
Dashboard. We're back to the dashboards.
Yeah. But then I will move to a car, of course. But, when I saw a Bentley 8 dashboard, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And then I realized the car itself was beautiful. But, my reading to cars was about dashboard. So I started with that for many, many years. And then I started this project. And then I started to realize that some cars, one of the most brilliant dashboards came with the most brilliant cars as well. And then I started to have a look at the clutch, the clutch pedal.
Yes.
And it was, take a Avion Voisin, which is one of my favorite cars. They are the C28, for instance. You have every detail is just a piece of artwork.
Yes, absolutely.
It's amazing. So then I realized that, oh my God, it's not the dashboard is my stuff, of course. But then, look at this line. Oh, I want this car. So I asked, okay, where I can get this car? I said, sorry, Francois, there's only 5 left on the planet and it's worth $30 million. Okay. So then I started to engage in that and started to meet people. My stuff is not about, how much it's worth. I mean, some people are interested about, the more expensive it is, the more interesting it is. So it's not my stuff. It's more about this car line, performance, engine, story is just fascinating. So, a 250 GTO is probably one of the nicest car in terms of body as well as performance being drawn by mankind, in history. Well, the dashboard is not the nicest one. It's not the perfect, the number one in history. So therefore, this is not my number one car, But initially, when I saw this car, I was saying, the dashboard is not too nice, so I like the line, but, it's not my stuff. But now, because I spend so many time with so many collectors, it's not collectors, it's passionate people. They know everything, and they've been, excited by such iconic cars, that eventually I realized that some lines was just breathtaking, and the 250 GT was one example. But the Bugatti Atlantic, is a fantastic car. The line, quite nice. It's a 30s kind of interesting of quality, but the line's just, it's not car. It's art. It's beautiful, right? So I've been learning that, but my starting point was not the line. Was more if I've seen an Atlantic when I was 25 years old, I would have said, oh, nice old car. But I would say, okay, what is the dashboard inside, right? So now when I see an Atlantic, I say, oh, this is so, right? So there is no question now about dashboard. So it's really about
It's about learning and gaining knowledge of these automobiles, and you gain a bigger appreciation for them, much like a fine watch, a piece of art, a nice glass of wine, whatever that might be. It's an evolution. Yeah. What was your first really special car that you owned in your life?
Well, the very first one was actually a motorbike. Uh-huh. I was 16-year-old. It was a Montesa. I was living in Madrid at that time. I lived in Madrid for 2 years at that time, and I had a Montesa 74. So it's a very humble motorbike, but it was a trial. So you could go trial and enduro. And oh my God, I spent so many hours, in something like enduro, field close to my house, and I spent hours just playing with my bike, and it was just amazing. So really had fun with that. Then my first car was I don't mention my first student cars, which are not worth mentioning because it was so it was like penny cars. But my first really nice car, I was less than 30, was a Saab 900S.
Oh yes.
And that was it was not a cheap car at that time, but it was still, at the beginning of career, you could still afford it. And it was more original than a BMW 3 Series or a Mercedes, and to my taste at least. And I really loved that car, particularly in black color. So, I finally got one, and I really enjoyed it. It was not, a sports car. It was not a super fast car, but it was super cool. The line was great. The convertible is like a call to freedom.
Yeah.
And I must say, the interior, the dashboard, which is to me, as you know, quite important, was and for all Saabs was very cool because most designers from Saab were coming from the aeronautic industry.
Yes, so those gauges. We're back to the gauges, exactly. Francois.
Exactly. And look at the font of speedometer or tachometer of Saab. You will find the font is very unique. The color of the shape of the hand is very unique, and you have a black panel, so you can push a button to say, I don't want to see any light in my car while I'm driving on the highway by night, for instance. So all these little details was quite fascinating to me. And again, the car was beautiful, was very nice, and I really enjoyed it. And then I had the idea to have kids. One, then two, and then three. Okay. And then with 3 kids. So with a Saab 900, that's not working.
Yeah.
So I moved to a family car. So I will have the decency here not to move into what is a family car because that was very exciting, but that was very functional. And then this is where I started, and I really. Enjoyed this Saab. It was great time for me.
Well, I have no surprises about picking the Saab because of that aeronautic design element that they even used in their advertising back in the day, but also fun gauges and very unique and different car. I'm going to ask you a question that I always ask my guests, but I'm going to twist it a little bit here. I typically ask my guests that if they were manifest as a vehicle, not what they want to be, but how they perceive themselves as a vehicle, what would they be? But I'm going to change this for you, Francois. I'm going to ask it this way. If Francois was manifest as a Reservoir watch, which one of your watches would you be and why?
Oh my God, this is so difficult, Mark.
There's nothing fun about easy. It's always good to be a little challenged. So, and you're the first person I've ever asked that question in this way. So, we'll see where we go here.
Okay, I'm not sure I can respond to that question. I share with you a little story. In the team here with my partners, the first batch of watches was in watches for investors. So we have a batch of 85 watches dedicated to investors and close supporters of the project. And they were numbered from 001 to 085. Why the 085? Could be just 85, because one of my good friends told me, I will join your project, but I really want to have the 007 watch. So we had the 0 to make it work, okay? Yeah. So then the 001 out of 085 watch, this is mine. Because I'm the founder and so forth. Yeah. And this watch is still not engraved yet.
Okay.
So that's why I cannot respond to the question, because the day I invented the first 4 collections, the 4 were my babies.
Yes.
And then the 5th collection was, oh my God, so beautiful. But the day I saw the 5th collection, I then created the 6th collection, which was the Longbridge Nightfall and Rose Gold. And then after that, I just launched the Hydrosphere, and this is the watch I'm wearing today. And tomorrow we are going to launch the Canister, which is inspired by the Porsche Speedster 356. It's a 415 millimeter. It's a beautiful watch. I have it at the office. It's not officially launched. No one has heard about it, so please don't keep that into memory for now. And probably this is my favorite today. But then we have a bronze coming for the Hydrosphere, which is beautiful. And then we have a new pilot watch coming actually next month. So that we're going to release probably in March next year. Yep. This is super gorgeous. So in short, Mark, I cannot answer to your question. I probably would say I really love bronze casing.
Yep.
I think that's super cool. So I really love the Tiffen Messer bronze. And I'm a great fan of enamel Grand Feu.
Yep.
And I made a prototype with a bronze casing and an enamel Grand Feu dial with Roman numbers, which looks, so I'm waiting this dial in the next couple of weeks. And this probably could become my number one watch for Reservoir.
So I see what's going on here, and this is the way I'm going to help you answer this question. By the way, I can't wait to see the Porsche 356 watch, because that's one of my favorites. A car I've always wanted to have.
Really?
Oh yeah, but I've had many Porsche 911s, which I love. That's my car of choice. But the 356 is one of those cars I've always wanted. Unfortunately, they've become very, very pricey and very expensive. Hard to swallow the sales amount you got to pay for one of those. But here's how I'm going to answer that question for you. Very much like Dr. Ferdinand Porsche answered the question, which is your favorite Porsche? The next one.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Okay.
Because the day I will have my enamel Grand Feu dial watch, we have in the pipeline, we have more than 7 collections coming.
Wow.
So, I'm just drawing, prototyping.
Yeah.
And then, the day we have motorbikes, we don't have motorbikes today. We have 3 motorbikes being drawn already, being designed. So, you're absolutely right. My favorite is the next one. And that's the best answer.
There we go. Perfect. All right. We're entering what I call the last lap here, Francois. Kind of a lightning round. So I'm going to ask for some short, quick answers here. I'm going to fire these off. You can give me some quick blips or quick flicks of the wrist with your automatic watches, because that's the way they wind themselves. So here we go. What's one of your personal habits that you believe has contributed to your many successes in life?
I think it's daring.
Daring. I love that word.
Yeah. Just daring, being audacious, just try. One of the value of the brand is audacious. Just try, just dare. Can I share a quick story here?
Yes.
Okay. One day I was, in banking. I had some very big role in the bank. So one day I was in charge of innovative session. So I brought like 40, branch managers and smart guys, young guys from the company. Guys means boys and girls. And we had a fantastic session. We had one consultant sharing very inspirational stuff all the morning. And then the afternoon he started to say, okay, now your turn to be innovative. You're going to make some innovation around the yogurt team. You're going to innovate in yogurts. Okay. So we all look at each other, say, we are bankers. What the hell? It's and in my life, it's the first time I could see such a creative moment. It was amazing. We created yogurts for cats, for bodybuilders guys. It was just fascinating, the creativity. And then at the end, I asked the guy, he was called Nicholas. He said, Nicolas, how can we be so creative? He told me, because you are not from this industry. If I would ask you, design me some credit cards or mutual funds product, we would be so bored, my friend. But now you've been so creative. And the day I said, I will dare doing watches, some people say, but you don't know the industry. And I was saying, but it's actually a strength, not a weakness, right? So just there. It's not because you're not coming from an industry or something you don't know that you should not dare. You should dare.
I love it. Be daring. How about if you could sit down and have a drink or a meal with anyone in the automotive industry, living or deceased? Who would it be?
The king of cool.
The king of cool. Would that be Steve McQueen?
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. He was into cars a little bit.
You have everything with this guy. He was a real passionate. He was, like Paul Newman a bit, but Steve McQueen was the king of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I've had his son, Chad, as a guest here on Cars Yeah a couple times. So,
oh, really?
Yes, you can go back and listen to my talk with him. I actually shot an episode of my Cars Yeah television show that was on the air last year with Chad, which is very cool too. But he's a very interesting guy. Imagine growing up with a dad who's the king of cool.
Wow.
That must be something. How about the best automotive advice someone else has ever offered you that's been of great value? What would that be?
It's a very simple one. You should never buy a car without the advice of a trusted professional.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
buying car is like falling in love, right? So when I fell in love with my wife, I'm married now for 35 years, so and we have we are a very good couple. I'm very still in love with my wife, but I didn't ask for a trusted professional about that, right? it was just a love at sight, and for a car it's the same. But then you have a crunch for a car, and then you will spend twice the price of what you paid, three times the price you've paid. So I think it's a very simple one. Is let's start with passion, and when you get to buy a car, just go to a professional, even for a cheap one, even for a simple one.
Yes. It's very good advice. And you and I share something, Francois. This month, my wife and I will celebrate our 35th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty spectacular. But you're right. I have some friends who, when they call me, the first thing they say is the doctor in? And that's code for, I'm about to buy a car. Talk me out of it. Typically, after I have a long conversation with them and hang up, the next phone call is from their spouse who says, you didn't tell him he could buy that car, did you? And so I have to walk a very careful line here between my friends and their wives.
Exactly. It's a dangerous world.
It's a dangerous world. Is there a resource out there, kind of a go-to for you? This could be a website, a supplier, it could be an app, a podcast, a blog, something that you find yourself going to quite often that you enjoy?
Well, of course, all the watch blogs I really enjoy, like Revolution. I think what they are doing is a really great content and quality. Watchonista, Hodinky, all these sites are quite high quality. I love Petrolicious, which I go there quite often.
Yep.
I think it's very much what I like about vintage cars, and then I go to all these classic drivers platform where you can have a look to vintage cars being on the market and people sharing, or like Car Jaeger. So all these sites where you can have a look at cars, see what is available on the market, what you could get, and so forth. But then I spend most of my time on my email, to be honest. So,
yeah, I understand. Well, Petrolicious, I had Afshin, the founder of that wonderful video platform, as a guest on my show. He just recently sold that business, so it will be interesting to see where that goes. Of course, Hodinky, another great one as well. So I'll put links to all of these on Francois' show notes page so that you can get to them. Now, Francois, I always ask my guests about a favorite book. You mentioned 2 books previously in our talk. If you could remind us what those titles were, and then if there's another one you want to recommend.
Okay, so these 2 books are, one is called It Seems Impossible Until It Is Done. It's a books that compiles, quotes from famous people. It's a super inspiring book, just freeing unlocking what you have in mind. Yeah. So, and the second one is The Power of Creative Thinking.
Yeah.
Don't ask me the name of the guy who wrote that, but it's a very straightforward book. It's a very unlocker book that just says just give it a try, you will see. I really like the book The Heart of Not Giving a Fuck. I think that's a very cool, super cool book. And then my favorite book is a French book. It's called L'Adieu au Roi. So it's French. You might find it in English. I'm sure it has been translated. A story of an Irishman becoming a king in Indonesia at the end of World War II. Wow. In Borneo.
Okay.
And it's a really fascinating book. It's about history. It's nothing to do with cars. It's to do about mankind and an incredible story, and Asia. I lived in Asia for more than 10 years, so that's a great book. L'Adieu au Roi. I don't know the name in English, but and it's written by Pierre Schoendorfer, a guy who's been to Dien Bien Phu and the Indochine War.
Well, that book, Power of Creative Thinking, is written by Seth Houston. Great book. I'll make sure I put links to all these books on François Moreau's show notes page. So just go to carsyeah.com, type in François Moreau, Moreau, and that page will pop right up. All right, Francois, we're almost at the end of our drive together here today. I really don't even want to leave this ride with you because I'm having so much fun, but there is a time point. So here's a question I have that can be a bit of a doozy. I'm going to buy you a very special collector car today. Any collector car in the world. Doesn't matter who owns it or where it is, what museum it's in. I'm going to park it in your garage, but there's a couple rules, of course, my listeners know. One is you can't sell it to fund more of your business. You have to keep it. I want you to drive it and enjoy it. So no garage queens or dust collectors here at Cars Yeah. But here's the hard part. It's got to be a car that ticks every box. So it's the only one that you can have in your garage, excluding your daily drivers, of course. So what can I buy you today, Francois?
That's a dangerous question, Mark.
Yes.
But okay. I would. It's a tough question. I would say, okay. I give you three choice, 3-1, right?
Okay.
The number 3 would be a Facel Vega.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Facel Vega, and it's not being a patriotic move from me. It's not because it's French, but this was luxury, super sporty cars, beautiful lines, incredible interiors,
yes,
incredible dashboards, and the ultimate expression of luxury, a bit like Hermes. I mean, if Hermes would make a car, that would be a Facel Vega, I would say.
Yes.
And now they disappeared, and now it's very hard to get, but it's a very, very nice car. Then my second one, if I want to tick all the boxes, actually this is the car I will get in 2 weeks' time from now. It's on the way.
Uh-huh.
It's a Jaguar 420.
Ooh, okay.
It's not the 420G, right? Because the 420G becomes too heavy, becomes too what I call the Senator car. Mm-hmm. But the 420 is like a Mark II moving into a bit more bigger car, but still with the 4.2 liter engine. Yeah. But what is very important is the line is beautiful. The performance is still okay. I mean, it's a heavier car than an E-Type, but it's still you can make rallies with it. But the interior is probably the most incredible dashboard that I know.
You're talking about the car from the, let's see, that would be from the 60s, late 60s?
Yeah. 60s. The one I'm getting is March 67.
60. Oh, okay. Yeah, beautiful cars. They've got a 4.2 liter in those things.
Exactly.
Plenty of power. Yeah, okay.
Plenty of power, and they improve the brake system, they improve the suspension.
Yep.
And inside so the one I'm getting is a bronze color with a red leather inside.
Beautiful.
Oh my God! I can't wait. I've been trying it just before the COVID, and it's just coming. And no, it's not a spectacular car, but we call it the mascot in French. It's like the symbol of Reservoir. It's really our car to shows car shows and so forth. Okay. But then my favorite one is actually any Avion Voisin car.
Oh, Voisin! Oh my gosh! Okay.
Voisin is just perfection in cars. We forget about money, we forget about everything. The perfection is probably the Voisin aerodynamique, the type record.
There was they've been on the lawns at Pebble Beach Concours from time to time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was not very familiar with those cars. One of them, and I'm going to email you a picture I took. The interior of this thing was insane.
Insane.
Yeah, just absolutely mind-boggling. In fact, it's almost so crazy that if you got inside to drive it, you'd probably get dizzy and sick because the pattern was just, it was just absolutely spectacular, crazy. It was this combination of grays and blacks and shades of gray. Yeah. And they do different colors too, right? I mean, I've seen them in red and blue and
that's the extreme expression of luxury in the 30s from a French manufacturer. And the interior, the C35, for instance, the interior was probably too much. The fabric that is used inside is Art Deco. And it's a bit eye-catching, but it's very, very strong.
It's crazy, yeah.
But have a look to the C28 Aerosport.
Okay.
Aerosport.
Okay.
You will find this is it is not a berline. It is a sports car, but everything is it's an art piece. It's amazing. But Voisin, they are known as being a very family luxury cars. But Gabriel Voisin, he made some sports car, and they are just fascinating. He broke some speed record at that time in 27 or 28.
Yeah, insane. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna make a decision for you. It's got to be the Voisin. That car is just out of the world crazy. And for you listeners that are not familiar, you can go to the show notes page. I'll put a link to some pictures of these things. Yeah. So you can see them. Yeah. Just spectacular. So very nice choice. I'm not surprised, but I am a little because nobody's ever picked that vehicle of all the guests I've had on the show, but you're a very unique individual. So I get that. That kind of makes sense. Very nicely done, Francois. Well, you've taken me on an incredible ride today. I've really enjoyed getting you. Well, merci. It's been great for me too. I want to thank you for sharing your journey. Before I let you go, could you offer our listeners one little parting piece of wisdom and guidance before you drive off into the French countryside in that beautiful Voisin?
Thank you, Mark. I think, it's very simple. I think it's just about enjoying life, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm 50 plus. I've had a very busy life so far. I completely changed my life a few years ago. The trigger was really to enjoy my life, and I think that's basically it. So with reason, of course, not with too much excess, but it's about doing what you love, enjoying nice food, meeting the people you really love, just spend more time with them, and work hard, because if you don't work hard, you will not get nowhere. It's about just doing things. We call it the first Reservoir. Initially we called it Reservoir to the full. That was we go max speed, and then we moved to Swiss made, which was a bit more luxury connected and so on. But it's really about that. It's just it's very simple. We just have I have, I don't know, 20-30 years left if I'm lucky.
Yes.
So the clock is ticking.
Yes,
that's why I think watches.
Absolutely important to have fun. What's the best way for people to learn more about Reservoir watches?
Probably the simplest would be to go to our website, I think. So reservoir-watch.com. We are working very well with Revolution, Watchonista, Monochrome, Hodinkey. We are getting close with Revolution, so you will hear from Reservoir from Revolution, website and publications.
Yep.
But I think the easiest way is to go to our website. You have all the stories behind the brand, our inspirations, the team, the collections, where we are, where we want to go, and so forth.
Absolutely. Listeners, I'll make sure, again, I put links to everything, including the website. If you love watches, and if you're into cars, you love watches, because all of us automotive fanatics and enthusiasts love watches, the mechanics. This line of watches at Reservoir is going to blow you away. Like I said, I've got one on my wrist right here today. They are so cool. They're so nice. They will fit your standards, I guarantee you. Definitely check out reservoir-watch.com. And you'll find everything there that we're talking about today. And I'm sure we can entice you to put one on your wrist as well. Listeners, again, you can find everything on Francois' show notes page. And I want to do a shout out and a thank you to Katya, a great talk at Kaleidoscope, lifestyle, luxury, PR, brand, media relations. She's been so kind to introduce me to Francois. I think it's great. I have the utmost respect for her and what she does. So thank you, Katya. Francois, thank you for being so generous today with your time, your expertise, and for sharing your incredible passions with automobiles, airplanes, and watches. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Mark. See you soon, and let's share a glass of wine at some point.
Yeah, I think I'm going to introduce you to some Adobe Road of the Racing Series wine. I think you would really love that. Fantastic wine. So, au revoir, my friend. Merci, and we will talk again soon.
Merci beaucoup, Mark. See you soon. À bientôt.
If you're listening to Cars Yeah, you've probably spent some time working on your favorite ride. But how confident are you working on your finances? You may be able to rebuild a fuel injection system, but can you decipher the details of a mutual fund? If you're like me, investments, insurance, annuities, budgeting, and other financial concepts may seem a bit daunting, but what if I told you there's a book that describes these subjects and more in an easy-to-read and a very humorous way? My friend Chris Kimball, CFP, a longtime sponsor and past guest here on Cars Yeah, has written that book, and it's titled The Saga of Ike and Penny, a couple's humorous journey through the confusing world of finance. It's a fun look at things you need to know, everything from investing to effective ways to get rid of credit card debt, and it's probably the only book on finance with a VMAX on the front cover and a classic Mini Cooper on the back. The book's available at Amazon for just $10, and this book will dramatically improve the direction of your financial future. I gave copies to each of my children. All securities are through Money Concepts Capital Corp. Christopher Kimball Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp. Get your copy, The Saga of Ike and Penny, today.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.